May 15th, 2025. 50 and Fabulous. On the day of her birthday, Michelle and Gionni are throwing Cara a surprise party for her 50th. Michelle put Liz and Tanya in charge of distracting Cara and keeping her away from the house the entire day. They decided on taking Cara out for brunch and heading to the spa for mani-pedis, while Michelle and Gionni decorate and set up for the party. Inside Cara's mansion, there is an atmosphere of bold glamour and refined elegance for the 50 and Fabulous celebration. The main staircase was adorned in a cascading balloon garland blending metallic gold and hid some blush, leading guests into the heart of the party. Meanwhile, Michelle brought her diligent eye for detail to the dessert table, setting up an extravagant display of a tiered cake with shimmering accents. Throughout the space, soft drapery, fairy lights, and mirrored accents reflected the warm ambiance. Every corner of the mansion pulsed with an air of luxury, celebrating Cara's milestone with undeniable radiance. For guests, they are inviting the entire friend group: Liz and Michael, Tanya and Nicole, Cris, Kelly, Whitney, Rachel, Susan, Hillary, Rebecca, Carla and Brad, Carole and Tom, Don Cesar, Jorge, Craig and Maria, Christina and Bill, Pete, Anthony, Joseph, and Richard, and of course they invite all of their mutuals. They also prepared some party games and activities. The activities include a fashion runway challenge, where guests dress up using glamorous accessories from a fashion station, striking their best pose in a mini photo shoot. Fabulous Feud, a game modeled after the Family Feud, but with questions centered around fashion, milestones, and fun facts about Cara. Decade Dance-Off, the DJ plays hits from different decades, and guests compete to show off their best moves from that era. And 50 Wishes for 50 Years. Guests each write down heartfelt wishes or advice for Cara to place in a keepsake box. Michelle has also planned a special surprise for Cara, a slideshow of photos from their friendship over the years with music. In addition to the decorations inside, Gionni and Michelle are following the same theme outside. The patio is transformed into a chic extension of the mansion's indoor elegance, carrying the rose gold and gold theme, but with a fresh, airy twist. The space is draped in soft fabric canopies falling underneath the tent, providing a luxurious yet breathable ambiance, while twinkling string lights wrap around columns, casting a warm glow as the evening unfolds. The dance floor is set beneath a canopy of fairy lights by the pool house, bringing an eternal feel, while the surrounding greenery is enhanced with gold-dipped leaves and floral garlands. Whether indoors or out, the theme remains cohesive and radiant, ensuring every corner of the celebration reflects Cara's glamorous milestone with sophistication and charm. The activities in the party games are scattered amongst the yard and the house. The Fashion Runway Challenge is in the main foyer and extends down the hallway. The Fabulous Feud will be set up in the living room. The Decade Dance-Off will be outside on the dance floor under a canopy of trees. And finally, 50 Wishes for 50 Years will be hosted in the dining room. This arrangement keeps the energy flowing while ensuring every area of Cara's mansion plays a role in her fabulous celebration. Once everything is decorated and looking nice, Gionni moves on to getting the bar ready and making sure all the food is prepared and organized. Gionni has crafted a spectacular menu for the 50 and Fabulous party. For appetizers, he has included mini lobster rolls, savory beef and pork meatballs shimmered in a champagne-infused glaze, rose gold bruschetta, prosciutto-wrapped melon bites, and a rose gold cheese board. For desserts, he has prepared gold leaf tiramisu, rose gold macaroons, chocolate ganache tartlets, and finally a towering 50 and Fabulous cake, a 3-tier masterpiece featuring champagne cake layers, edible gold accents, and cascading sugar flowers in rose gold tones. For beverages, they are offering the basic Pinot Grigio, red wine, champagne, and sparkling water. In addition to that, the bar has a variety of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages for the guests to enjoy. Michelle is taking a quick smoke break outside while Gionni coaches the caterers to get the food set up buffet style. While Michelle is relaxing for a minute outside, she touches base with Liz and Tanya. She asks how things are going and for their opinion on whether or not she should invite Marnie. Tanya and Liz are keeping up with Michelle's plan by treating Cara to brunch on her special day. They have decided to take her out to eat at a restaurant called Marketplace, which is 20 minutes from Cara's house. The restaurant is quaint and cozy with a rustic interior featuring whitewashed walls and dim lighting, adding to the intimate and comfortable atmosphere. They're seated at a small circular table near the window, the morning sun illuminating the area. As they wait for their food to arrive, they chat and laugh, sipping on their drinks and enjoying each other's company. For her special day, Cara is wearing a rose gold silk wrap dress, perfectly paired with delicate gold stilettos. Her jewelry is understated yet luxurious, a gold cuff bracelet, dainty layered necklaces, and diamond-studded earrings that add just the right amount of sparkle. Her hair is styled in soft waves, complementing the radiant glow of her polished makeup, dewy with a hint of champagne tone highlighter, bringing out the warmth in her complexion. Liz, I wanted to thank you so much for taking me out to brunch. Gionni told me he has something special planned for later in the day, and I'm excited to see the surprise, Cara says, smiling warmly. She crosses her legs under the table and sits back, enjoying the moment. Of course, Cara. You know we'll do anything to make this day special for you, Liz smiles back, glancing at Tanya. Cara looks out the window, watching as a bird lands on a nearby tree branch. I must admit, I'm a little curious about what Gionni has planned for later. He's so secretive. Liz gulps a bit and shoots a glare at Tanya, trying to compose herself. She was surprised that Michelle had put the two of them in charge of chaperoning Cara. Michelle knew that Liz had a big mouth and could spill the secret at any point. She was glad Tanya was there to help keep the secret party a surprise. Tanya cleared her throat and tried to change the subject to keep Liz from saying something regretful. The waitress arrives with their food, placing the steaming plates in front of them. The mouth-watering smells and vibrant colors of the dishes are enough to silence any further discussion. This looks delicious, Cara says, her eyes widening as she takes in the sight of the food. They begin to dig in, savoring the flavors and talking about something else other than surprises. After they had all taken a few bites of their food, Tanya decided to change the subject to something light and fun. So, Cara, she begins, what are your plans for the rest of your 50th year? Any big trips or adventures coming up? Cara chuckles and dabs a napkin to her mouth. Well, to be honest, I haven't really made any specific plans yet. 50 is a bit of a milestone, though. Maybe I should do something special. Tanya is trying very hard to keep Cara's mind off Gianni's surprise, and Liz is having a hard time trying to keep it a secret. A few seconds later, her phone rings with a call from Michelle. She decides to stand up and take the call outside. Liz steps outside and answers the phone. Hey, Liz says nervously. Hey, how's it going? Michelle says, fiddling with her cigarette. It's going okay, Liz responds, stepping outside of the restaurant and leaning against the wall. She glances back inside to make sure that Cara and Tanya are not looking in her direction. But I have to say, it's been a bit of a challenge keeping Cara distracted and away from the surprise. She keeps asking what Gionni has planned. I'm wondering how she knows about that. Michelle rolls her eyes, glaring to Gionni from outside. Yeah, I don't know, Liz says softly. Just try your best at distracting her. I know it's hard, but there's one thing I would like your opinion on. Michelle clears her throat as she continued. I've invited Rebecca, but I was wondering if maybe I should include Marnie as well. I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to Rebecca and whether or not she thinks the party atmosphere is the best thing for her right now. But do you think it would be a good idea to have her there? I don't want to make things awkward for Cara or anything. I mean, Cris is already coming, and I don't want the rehab tension to be weird. Michelle shrugged, sounding hesitant on the phone. Liz considers the question for a moment, mulling it over in her mind. I think it's ultimately up to Rebecca, and if she feels comfortable bringing Marnie along. But if she does decide to come, I think it's important to make sure the atmosphere is supportive and not awkward. Cris will be there, but that doesn't mean that the tension has to be palpable. We can make sure everyone understands that the focus is on celebrating Cara's birthday, and not any underlining drama. Michelle purses her lips at the thought of including Marnie. Yeah, you're right. But you're not against it or anything, right? Because I remember the last time you tried to go see her, she got all defensive and wanted nothing to do with you. Liz sighs, feeling a pang of regret at the memory. I'm not against it, no. It's just that the whole situation with Marnie has been difficult. I admit, I probably rushed into seeing her and should have given her space, but it's just because I care about her and want to support her however I can. There was a pause on the other line as Michelle hummed. She can almost picture the woman smoking her cigarette, thinking hard. Michelle took a puff of her cigarette, contemplating the situation. I understand that you care, Liz, and I appreciate your support for Marnie. She needs time and space to cope and heal. And you pushing your way into that isn't helpful. She lets out a sigh, exhaling a cloud of smoke. I think it's best if we let Rebecca decide whether or not to bring Marnie along. We can't force these things. Liz furrows her brows at Michelle's response. What the hell are you talking about? I'm not pushing my way into it. You're the one who asked for my opinion, and I told you I wasn't against it. You gotta stop with this gaslighting shit, Michelle. I think you should just talk to Rebecca directly. I know Marnie has been through a lot, and she's fresh out of rehab, so she's definitely still struggling. If you don't think it's a good idea to have her there, then you need to express that to Rebecca. I'm not getting in the middle of this. I told you how I feel about having Marnie there, and if you don't agree with that, then fine. Liz shakes her head, not impressed with Michelle's response. Michelle takes a deep breath, trying to calm herself. Listen, Liz, I'm sorry if I came off as gaslighting you. It's not my intention. It's just that this whole situation with Marnie is delicate, and I want to make sure we do the right thing here. I'll talk to Rebecca directly, and we'll go from there. I appreciate you sharing your honest opinion. Let's just focus on making sure Cara has a great birthday today, okay? Liz closes her eyes and takes a sigh. Okay, fine, whatever. Just let me know what she says. Liz takes a moment to compose herself before re-entering the restaurant. She heads back to the table where Cara and Tanya are engaged in conversation. They both look up at her as she returns. Everything okay? Tanya asks, noticing the tension on Liz's face. Liz nods, trying to keep the conversation with Michelle a secret. Yeah, just Michael. You know how he is, she says softly. While this one suspicion is in the air, Michelle calls Rebecca so they could talk about it. Michelle was unsure about how the rest of the group would react to seeing Marnie. She was hoping that she could convince Marnie to go. Michelle fiddles with her cigarette as she dials Rebecca's number. Hey, it's Rebecca, Rebecca says, sighing into the phone. Hi, Rebecca, it's Michelle. I just wanted your opinion on something. Do you think it's a good idea to have Marnie at Cara's surprise party tonight? I'm sure everyone would love to see her there, but it's up to you. Rebecca sighed on the other end, conflicted on what to do. I don't know, Michelle. I know everyone would be happy to see her there, but Marnie is still so vulnerable right now. She's just out of rehab, and I don't want her being triggered or anything. Michelle takes a deep sigh before responding, realizing that this probably wasn't the best idea. Yeah, you're right. I don't even know why I thought about it in the first place. Sorry to bother you, she says, feeling let down by her intrusive thoughts. Rebecca chuckles on the phone. Michelle, it's not a bother. I know you're just trying to do what's best for Marnie, but I think the birthday party isn't the right place for her right now. Maybe we can arrange something else when she's better? Michelle takes another sigh, trying to compose herself. Yeah, I guess so. It just feels like we've been waiting forever for her to get better. I guess I just wanted her there to help celebrate Cara's birthday. It would be a big surprise to everyone, and I'm sure they would love to see her there, she mentions again. Rebecca pauses for a moment before responding. I understand, but we have to be patient. It's only been a few months since Marnie left rehab, and she's still struggling. Bringing her to a party surrounded by her friends could be overwhelming for her. She needs time to focus on herself and her recovery first. We have all been very patient, and we understand that she needs space, but she knows everyone here. It's not like she's going to get overwhelmed by seeing everyone again. I mean, when we went to visit her in rehab, she was feeling a little scared and nervous to see so many faces at once, even though it was just the 5 of us. Surely things can't be the same, right? You think she'll be nervous in a crowd of people at a party? Michelle questions, trying to change Rebecca's mind. Rebecca takes a deep breath, feeling conflicted. I don't know, Michelle. Honestly, it's hard to say how Marnie will react. She's been through so much, and her anxiety has been off the charts lately. The last thing I want for her is to have some kind of mental break in the middle of Cara's party. It's been 8 months, Rebecca. Are you sure you're not just saying that because you want to keep your sister sheltered and away from the outside world? Keeping her away from her friends and not allowing her to go out is a little too much, don't you think? I know you want to be overprotective and all, but it sounds like you're not allowing her to have any fun, and she's only allowed to go out for therapy sessions. Michelle crosses her arms. Rebecca furrows her brow, feeling irritated by Michelle's response. I'm not trying to keep Marnie sheltered, Michelle. I'm just trying to protect her. She's still fragile and vulnerable right now, and I don't want her to get triggered by being around alcohol and drugs. She's made progress, but she's not completely out of the woods yet. And as for fun, she's not supposed to be having fun right now. She's supposed to be working on her recovery. I understand that, Rebecca, but this very much sounds like you're sheltering her as if she's a child. There aren't going to be any drugs at this party, you know that, right? Cris has been clean for 5 months now, and she doesn't even drink an ounce of alcohol anymore. You're worrying about the stupidest things. You think Marnie's going to catch a whiff of a cigarette and suddenly want one? Or see someone holding a cocktail and wish she could have some of it? I know she's not that unstable. You don't have to act like she's still in a rehab center and keep her hospitalized for no reason. Have you even asked her what she wants to do? It sounds like you're the legal guardian of a 40-year-old woman who can make her own decisions, and it's a bit weird, Michelle says, stubbing out her cigarette. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out another cigarette, lighting it as she spoke. Rebecca's eyes widen at Michelle's harsh words. You're being an asshole right now. You know that? I'm not sheltering Marnie. I'm just being careful. And of course I've asked her what she wants, and she's not ready to be in an alcohol and drug-filled environment just yet. So don't act like you know better than me just because you're all buddy-buddy with Cris. I'm not, Rebecca. I'm just trying to get you to change your mind about the whole thing. As I said, it would be nice to have her there, and I'm sure she would love to see everyone. But no, you have to be the overprotective sister and not allow her to do anything. It's pretty annoying if you ask me. She's a grown woman, and she can make her own decisions. You know I would love it if you put her on the phone right now so I can ask her for myself, because you're taking this conversation into circles for no reason. I'm not even acting like I know better than you because Cris has cleaned up her act. Those are 2 different situations. Cris was homeless, remember? Her friends dropped her and decided not to support her, which is when we decided to step in and help out. Have you forgotten? She's gotten a job, and she's been able to turn her life upside down. Marnie could do the same if you gave her a chance to see everyone instead of keeping her locked in a room and only allow her to go out for therapy sessions. Oh, but you're right. I don't know what her situation is like or the way you're treating her in your house. Michelle rolled her eyes to the difficult turn that the conversation has taken. Rebecca huffed in frustration, feeling hurt and defensive. You're making it sound like I'm keeping Marnie hostage. I'm not. I'm just trying to protect her. And you know what? Maybe the reason why she's not as far along in her recovery as Cris is because of the stress and pressure she's under. Worrying about you guys and whether or not you're going to abandon her again if she doesn't get better right now. Michelle slams her hand onto the patio table. Oh, that is such bullshit, and you know it. I get you're trying to protect her and all, but you know that we would never abandon her. We were the ones that informed you of Marnie's drug use in the intervention. Don suggested a few centers she could check into. Once she got settled in, we went to visit her as a small group in November. You don't remember this? Do I seriously have to remind you that you didn't speak to Marnie for years until we reached out and you found out what was going on with her? We would never abandon her. We are her former co-workers, and even though she has abused us in the workplace, we would never do something like that. How about you get your head out of your ass and wake up? Put Marnie on the phone now. Michelle shook her head, losing her patience. Rebecca's face reddened with anger as she gripped the phone tighter. You are so out of line right now. How dare you bring up the past like that? Yeah, I know we had our issues, and I know I wasn't there for Marnie when I should have been, but that was years ago, and I'm making up for it now by being supportive and protective. You don't get to act like you're some kind of saint just because you called me up and told me what was going on with Marnie. You're just as guilty for turning your back on her. All right, Rebecca, whatever. If you're not going to allow me to talk to Marnie, then I guess it's settled. She's not coming, and you're lucky I didn't choose to uninvite you because of this situation. I'm not guilty, and I never turned my back on her. You don't even know what happened before the intervention, so stop assuming things, Michelle says. Rebecca rolls her eyes, her irritation growing. You're threatening to uninvite me? Really? You think that's going to change my mind about Marnie? And what do you mean I don't know what happened before the intervention? You're acting like I'm clueless about everything going on with my sister. I may not have been there, but I know enough to know that you all played a role in her downward spiral. How fucking dare you, Michelle sighed. I'm not threatening anything. You're not clueless, and we didn't play a role in her downward spiral, you fucking idiot. She abused us for years, and only when Don called her out and stood up for all of us, she took responsibility. Oh, but that wasn't until she checked into rehab and learned how to take responsibility for things. If I don't get to talk to Marnie in the next 10 seconds, I'm hanging up, Michelle says, a hint of anger in her voice. Why? So you can guilt her into coming to the party? I don't think so. I'm not letting you use her as a pawn in your little power struggle just to make me look bad. She's not ready for a big party yet, and that's final. Rebecca's tone is firm and unyielding, clearly not open to negotiation. You have been saying that for the last 5 months. It just goes to show how you're trying to keep her as sheltered as possible. When are you going to give it up and allow her to go out and see her friends? Are you going to keep her locked up all summer too? Because it sounds like you don't want her communicating with any of us, Michelle says, hands on her hips. She was feeling defeated, but decided not to pressure Rebecca to put Marnie on the phone anymore. Rebecca groaned in frustration, running a hand through her hair. I'm not trying to keep her locked up, okay? I just want her to focus on her recovery. And yes, maybe I am being a little overprotective, but can you blame me? After everything she's been through, I want to make sure she doesn't slip back into her old habits. Michelle leaned back in the chair, rubbing her eyes as she continued to take down more of her cigarette. All right, she finally said. You let me know when Marnie's all better and you're done playing referee. Rebecca let out a deep sigh, feeling the weight of the situation settling on her. It's not like I enjoy being the bad guy here, you know. I just want what's best for Marnie. I'll let you know when she's ready, I promise. Michelle exhaled a long puff of smoke, considering the conversation. She knew that Rebecca was just trying to do what she thought was best, but it still frustrated her that Marnie wasn't given the chance to socialize. All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, but just let me know if Marnie has any input on the situation, okay? Don't make decisions for her without consulting her first. Rebecca nodded, acknowledging Michelle's words. Of course, I'll talk to her. I know she's capable of making her own decisions. I just want to make sure she's really ready before putting her in an environment like that. Michelle sighs and hangs up the phone. She was feeling defeated and didn't expect the conversation with Rebecca to turn into an argument. She finishes off her cigarette and heads back inside. Gionni is still in the kitchen, getting the food together and setting up everything in the fridge. Hey, Michelle, everything okay? He asked her, noticing the expression on her face. Ugh, yeah. I managed to get myself into another situation that I couldn't get out of. I don't know why I thought about asking Rebecca if it would be a good idea for Marnie to come. I don't know what I was thinking. She leaned against the counter. Gionni raised an eyebrow. Marnie, huh? What got into you? He chuckled quietly. Michelle rolled her eyes, shaking her head in annoyance. I don't know. I just thought she'd be a fun addition to the party, but Rebecca is being overly protective again and shot me down. Figures. Gionni shakes his head and chuckles again. Well, I'm not surprised. You know how Rebecca can be. She's always acting like a mother bear when it comes to Marnie. I don't even know why you bothered asking her in the first place. How are things going in here? Are we ready to start letting everyone know they can come? Michelle looks down, trying to change the subject. Gionni smiles, sensing her desire to change the subject. Everything's all set. I've got all the food ready to go, and the decorations look great. I think we're ready to send out the invitations. Oh, thank God. I was waiting for you to finish getting the food prepared. I'll text the group chat now, Michelle says, pulling out her phone. Liz just said that they got their food and they're eating. She says they're going to head to the spa soon for mani-pedis. Should we tell them to come a little later? Michelle asked. Gionni nodded. Yeah, we should probably tell them to come later. I think it's better to let them know now so they don't show up too early. Michelle nods in agreement. She pulls out her phone to text the group chat with a message that says, Hey everyone, we're all set with preparing for the party. You can arrive between 3:30 to 4:30. Cara will be arriving around 5:30 with Liz and Tanya, so please make sure to arrive promptly before. Michelle sends the text message and lifts her head back, trying to relax herself. Would you mind going to the pool house to see if Cris is ready? Gionni asked. Sure. I'll let her know she can relax in here until everyone gets here, Michelle says, nodding. She stands up from the counter and makes her way to the living room to open the side door that leads to the patio and onwards to the pool house. She makes her way across the backyard. As she approaches the pool house, she notices that the lights are on inside and the door is slightly cracked open. She knocks softly before entering. The pool house is cozy and comfortable with a small living room area, a bathroom, and a bedroom. Cris is sitting on the left seat in the living room flipping through a magazine and doesn't notice Michelle walk inside. Hey, Michelle calls out, closing the door behind her. Cris looks up from the magazine, surprised to see Michelle walk in. Hey, Cris replies, dropping the magazine to her lap. What's up? I just wanted to let you know that we got everything prepared for the party, so whenever you're ready, you can get dressed and join us in the kitchen while we wait for everyone to arrive shortly. I told everyone to be here between 3:30 and 4 p.m., and Cara will be here with Liz and Tanya around 5:30. We'll have to play the waiting game, but it'll still be nice to have you join us, Michelle chuckled, taking a seat on the edge of the bed. All right, sounds good to me, Cris said, placing the magazine on the coffee table next to her. Should I get dressed now, then? Yeah, I'm going to head upstairs to the guest bedroom and put some makeup on, Michelle says. You're free to join Gionni, though. Cris nodded. All right, I think I will. She stood up from the couch, stretching her arms a bit. It'll be boring just to sit around in here anyways. Michelle leaves Cris to get ready while she heads back into the house and upstairs to the guest bedroom to start her makeup. With all the food and beverages prepared in the kitchen, Gionni arranges a few rose gold balloons in the center hallway and confetti decorations set for the big surprise. Michelle stands in front of the mirror and begins touching up her makeup, starting with a layer of foundation and moving on to eyeshadow, liner, and lipstick. Cris rummages through the linen closet, pulling out her chosen outfit. A one-shoulder cocktail dress with subtle sequin embellishments. She changes into the elegant dress, slipping on a pair of gold stilettos and grabbing her clutch. The combination of the dress with her stilettos and clutch completes the look, creating a perfect balance between luxury and effortless chic. Cris stands in front of the mirror, admiring her reflection. She runs a hand through her waves and applies a coat of lip gloss, appreciating the way the sequins of her dress catch the light every time she moves. The stilettos add a few inches to her height, making her taller than usual. Satisfied with her appearance, she grabs her clutch and walks out of the bedroom. Michelle finishes her makeup and heads back down the stairs. When she returns to the living room, she notices Cris sitting there while Gionni comes over to greet her. Hey, Cris, could I get you something to drink while you relax? Gionni asked. Sure, I'll have a glass of water with ice and lemon, she says, crossing her legs. Gionni nods and heads over to the bar to start her beverage. Michelle comes over and sits next to Cris. Hey, you look beautiful, Michelle compliments. Cris moves her hand onto her heart as she thanked Michelle. Thank you, she smiled. I hope Cara won't mind if I steal her spotlight with this glamorous dress, she chuckled. Michelle shakes her head, chuckling. Oh, I'm sure she won't mind. You look great, she says, admiring the way the dress hugs the curves of Chris's body. Cris clears her throat. So, who's coming tonight, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, I've invited everyone. The entire group. I had a brief conversation with Rebecca about including Marnie, but she completely ignored my request and said that the best thing for her to do is to stay home. I didn't agree with that, and I asked to speak to Marnie to see what she wanted to do, but Rebecca wouldn't let me, Michelle sighed. She's gone full mama bear mode. Chris's eyebrows raised in surprise. Oh, really? I don't understand why she's being so overly protective. It seems a bit extreme, doesn't it? Can't Marnie make her own decisions? That's what I was trying to tell her, Michelle leaned back. She just got all defensive and called me an asshole for speaking the truth. I can't ever get through to her about including Marnie in Cara's events. I don't know why I even bothered. She pissed me off, and I threatened to uninvite her." Cris let out a sigh, rubbing her temple. She grabs a hold of the drink from Gionni. "It's frustrating, isn't it? It's like she knows what's best for Marnie all the time. I understand that she cares about her, but she's got to let Marnie make her own decisions at some point. It's not fair to keep treating her like a child." Right? And the fact that she has to remind everyone that she knows her shit because she's a licensed psychiatrist gets on my fucking nerves. It doesn't make a difference whether you're licensed or not. She's trying to shelter Marnie and stray her away from her friends. I just don't get it. It's unfair that Rebecca chooses to go and leaves her sister behind. Then she got the nerve to complain how hard it is to take care of her like she's some child. If she wants to go out, she should be able to on her own terms. She's a grown woman, after all, and can look out for herself. I had to even remind her that Marnie was taking care of herself before Rebecca heard what was going on with Marnie during the intervention. It's like she completely forgot we all went to see her at rehab. Rebecca needs a wake-up call as far as I'm concerned. Keeping Marnie locked in a room all day and only allowing her to go out for therapy sessions is a bit sketchy. Michelle shook her head. Cris nodded, agreeing with Michelle 100%. Exactly. It's completely unreasonable to keep Marnie locked up like this. She needs some freedom and some space to recover, not to be treated like a child. It's like Rebecca is trying to control Marnie's life, but she's forgetting that Marnie is her own person with her own needs and desires. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Not to mention the fact that Cara's planning all sorts of parties and events for the summer. Is Rebecca going to allow Marnie to go? Or will Cara decide not to include both of them? I would feel really bad if she misses out on the white party. That's one of the most important events that Cara's planning this summer, and I would hate to see Marnie miss out on it. It's also been like 8 months of isolation. I think by now she would be ready to go out and socialize. But Mama Bear Rebecca got other plans for her, Michelle nods. I definitely agree with you there. It seems like Marnie's been isolated for far too long and it's not doing her any favors. And with all the parties and events coming up, I don't think it's fair to keep her from participating in them, Cris added, nodding in agreement with Michelle. It's unbelievable, Cris. She tried to compare your situation to Marnie's, and I was like, those are two different situations. It's like she's unable to understand point of views and what other people are going through. Everyone gets over their addiction in different ways, and sometimes rehab centers don't work for everyone. Watch her give it a year before she allows Marnie to go anywhere. That would make her go insane, Michelle sighed. I completely agree, Cris responded, shaking her head in disbelief. It's like she has this one-size-fits-all approach to addiction recovery and isn't willing to consider any other points of view. And let's not even get started on the whole isolation thing. It's absolutely unreasonable to keep Marnie locked up like that. It's like Rebecca is treating Marnie like a fragile doll who needs to be protected at all times, rather than a grown woman who is capable of making her own decisions. Michelle takes a sigh. Ugh, I don't know. I'm going to put a pin into this for now. Just try not to bring it up with her, all right? I don't want to start trouble and ruin Cara's surprise party, Michelle says, glancing at the clock. It was about to hit 3:30 and she was anxious about guests arriving. Cris understood the need to drop the subject for now. All right, I'll keep it to myself. No need to start unnecessary drama tonight.